am I on? Just sweeping off my bear hides. Okay, so I'm going to talk today about bear attack survival and bear encounter survival. These are the bears that we've harvested over the years. Some in close succession. This is the dog's take. That's all they get because they're not allowed to hunt bears in this state. Okay, so this was a female, and this was taken right off the back porch. She was looking out over the kid pen. This is my first bear. The female was 200 pounds. There's her skull. This is my first bear. He was 150 pound, 1 year old. The female was 2. And he's slowly tipping his head back to look at us. And he was 1. He was 150 pounds, and he was trying to figure a way in the goat pen. So we obviously harvested these bears. This was my dad's bear. He was 350, 400 pounds. You can see the size difference. It's actually the little bears that tend to be the naughty bears. They move really fast. Nova, is that yours? Yeah, that's all the dogs do with the bears, other than bark. Is that fun? And this one was right across from the kid pen, and when we had to take him out, and he was a big, big boy. He was shot in the foot and in the pelt with non-lethal rounds, and he had cataracts and broken teeth. This bear I ended up having to take out last year. He was running through the property, and are you having fun? Yeah. Running through the property and dashing behind animal pens, and he was stalking my sister's cat in the driveway up by the house. So he doesn't have a head or a skull because I kind of aimed for the ears and blew him off. So anyway, that was damaged. So the encounters we've had with black bears here, most of them have been, you know, the bear's just there and then it's not there. You can hear it in the brush. You don't see it. The dog says it's in the brush. But we have had, obviously, some encounters here where we had to lethally remove. And whenever you're encountering a black bear, you want to keep a few things in mind. One of which is that while usually they can be scared off by intimidation, walking toward the bear and kind of clapping hands, seeming to be large, pick up small children if they're if you have small children, so they don't look tempting to a bear. On occasion, you have ones that are a little bit more aggressive. We had one that was this large that the dog was playing behind it when we went on a walk. We didn't have the dogs on a leash, and we should have. And the dog was jumping up and down behind it, and when my sister yelled, then it came toward us instead of away. And then my dad was charged once by a bear. He said he didn't think he even saw him. He ran toward him and then dashed past. But he did see him. That was a charge. They sometimes will turn off at the last minute. But the problem is you never know when they're going to turn off. So teeth clacking is a warning. They kind of clack their teeth like the pigs do, kind of popping the jaw. Moving the lower jaw up and down, and it makes a clacking sort of a noise. It's actually a little bit like the clack that antlers make, but it's kind of a little bit like that. But yeah, so the teeth clack is a warning, and they'll kind of they'll do some mock charging, but you want to be prepared in case it's real. So here in bear country, we carry bear mace everywhere. And even a 2-year-old has successfully used bear mace against a marauding bear. We also carry pocket knives everywhere. And that's not much protection. And even the mace, people will tell you that it's better protection than a firearm. Not necessarily. I've watched lots of videos where it didn't dissuade the bear and the bear kept coming. But they can do that with a firearm as well. Bears are hard to dissuade at times. They've got heavy bones, thick skulls, and they can be hard to kill. So the way you want to handle yourself when you encounter a black bear is try not to run. But that is not a hard and fast rule. Depending on how the bear is acting, and if you have somewhere to escape to that's very, very close by, bears can run at like something like 35 miles an hour. Okay, so you're not going to outrun it in a long jaunt, but there's been times where my sister would be out here beyond the fence at the brooder, and right behind her there's a 400-pound bear walking past, and I'm telling her, get on this side of the fence. A little bit of dissuasion is better than nothing. So if you have safety close by, running may be your best option. Particularly if the bear is acting aggressive, stepping toward you. If a bear is making noises, then it is a threat. It's a warning. So take it seriously. It's not playing. I'm making a bear video. You be quiet. So lots of times we've encountered bears back here on the trail, and safety is just right here. Before we had the fence, safety was the big barn, and so we would head for that real quick, because you don't want an encounter with them. So if safety is not an option and running is not an option, don't climb a tree. There was a guy down here that tried that at one of the lakes, and the bear ripped his shoe off. If you encounter a bear, immediately locate a weapon for yourself, whether that's a big stick, a rock, or your mace or your knife. Locate and get it out. And the more aggressive you act toward a black bear, don't do this with a grizzly. Grizzlies are territorial. Black bears are not doing most things because they're territorial. Black bears are doing what they're doing because they're opportunistic. They don't defend their cubs like a grizzly does, so you don't have quite that danger. Nova. But you do want to watch them. They'll defend a food source, and you don't know there's a food source there or something. But you do want to watch them for how are they behaving toward you. If they will spook when you step toward them and make yourself big, then do that. If the bear starts pursuing you, walking toward you, won't stop, slowly back away and retreat. Have your weapon, whatever your choice of weapon was, handy. You're getting stuff on them. I just swept that. And be prepared to use whatever it is against that predator. Obviously, it's like with sharks, you can go for the eyes and the nose. Those are sensitive spots on an animal. If the black bear, now a grizzly is different. If a grizzly is going to attack you or is attacking you, play dead. If a black bear is going to attack you or is attacking you, do not play dead. Stay on your feet and fight. Because if it is attacking you quite possibly to eat you. Now this usually happens in less rural areas, out where bears don't encounter people as much. And there's lots of people who say this was a non-provoked attack. There is no provoked bear attack unless you are running after a bear and tormenting it. They're all unprovoked. One lady down here stepped out onto her porch, and a bear attacked her dog, and then she hit the bear with a broom, and the bear attacked her. Now, you could say that was provoked because she hit it with a broom, but what was it doing on the porch? So, you want to watch blaming the person for what happens next. The bears should be scared of humans, scared enough that they retreat when you seek to engage them. So, if you're backpacking, we've done a lot of backpacking before we got animals. And if you're wearing a pack on your back, leave it on your back because you may need it. If the bear does get you down and you can't get up when it's a black bear, then lay flat with your arms and legs spread out. They used to tell you to cover your neck with your back to your hand with your hands and go curl up in the fetal position. And this is because they're trying to take the tooth and penetrate into your spinal column and separate the vertebra and therefore kill you. They also will chew on your head. So keep your backpack on. That'll protect your back. A lot of people will throw the backpack at them because they think they want whatever's in there. But that's feeding the bear. And also you're removing one of your protection devices. You can also hit them with the backpack. So there's lots of ways that you can dissuade bears when you encounter them. But most of them is by being assertive, except for with grizzlies. Grizzlies, you want to be careful because they are territorial. Black bears, you want to be assertive, and a lot of times you're going to dissuade any kind of an encounter that becomes unfortunate because they call them the gentlemen of bears. But there is those rare bears that are looking for an easy meal, and humans, unfortunately, with no claws or teeth, are a pretty easy meal. So you don't want to become prey to these animals by acting like prey. So don't run, don't scream, and all this kind of stuff. But stand your ground, be authoritative. Don't scream at the bear because you get a high tone that sounds like an animal tone to them. But use a low authoritative voice, walk toward the bear, and if it doesn't move backward, then stand your ground. You can put your arms up over your head. If you were sitting down, stand up. I encountered some coyotes one time where I was sitting down and I had to stand up immediately because they had surrounded me and they were thinking maybe I was small enough to consume. So you do want to be authoritative with these guys, just like with a dog, okay? If you're authoritative with a dog, but if you start running, the dog's instinct kicks in to chase. So if you have a vehicle nearby that you can get into, that also is safety. But be aware that in bear country, which this is, your vehicle is a lovely refrigerator for them. If you've got food crumbs in there, a lot of people come down here camping and they're not prepared for bears. Bears down here know how to open car doors, okay? And all it takes is they just take their little paw and they're in. Or they push on your window and they're in. So don't store food in your car where it's possible not to. Carry mace, carry a knife. Don't put food in your tent if you're camping, obviously. And, if you're going to have food secure enough, you want it far away from your camp. I've heard 100 feet, and of course they used to tell you to put it in a tree. But the number one thing when you're camping around bears, don't bring food that smells good to them. Bring stuff like pasta. Those aren't fun camping things, okay? But they can smell food through your cooler, unless you have a way of securing it or the campground is extremely safe. Most campgrounds along roadsides are more safe than like you're camping up in the backcountry. Don't carry apples with you when you're camping and hiking and whatever. Dried fruits and nuts, carry them in a container that can be airtight, sealed. They can still smell it, okay, but it diminishes the smell. So don't bring anything smelly with you because that's largely how they're going to find food. But this has been surviving a bear attack and encounter. And we've had plenty of bear encounters. Thankfully no attacks, but a couple close calls.